still Flag Day. I don't know. I don't know if there's any.
Well, you acknowledge it at school still. Oh, yeah.
I think it's the birthday of the U.S. Army too.
Get this. Where's the rest of it? You didn't get all this?
No, it should have been a separate thing.
No? Okay, Council. Started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 14th special council meeting for the City of Brook Park. Notices were sent to council members Troyer, Mancini, Powers, Scott, Bergio, McDonald, Salvatore, Council President Estorino, Mayor Coyne, Law Director Horvath, and Finance Director Single to notify them of a special council meeting. Special meeting will be accordingly held on Wednesday, the 14th day of June at 8:30 p.m. at the place of the holding regular meetings. I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Scott,
Here.
Bergio, Salvatore,
Here.
Troyer,
Here.
Powers, McDonald,
Here.
Mancini.
Here.
We received notification this morning from Councilman Bergio that he would not be able to attend, so we'll list him as an excused absence. I'd ask everyone to please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, thank you. As with all special meetings, we have to provide an opportunity for remarks from the audience on items that pertain to the agenda only. The item that's on tonight's agenda is verbal approval for the fact finders report. So if there's anyone in the audience that wants to come and address council about this item, time would be now to come to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and make your comments. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll go to the item on the agenda of verbal approval for the fact finders report for the police sergeants and lieutenants. The chair will recognize a motion to accept the fact finders report.
Motion so made.
Support.
There's a motion to accept the report. It's been properly supported. It's be open for discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Salvatore?
through the chair, if I may, to the safety director, I just want to get a few items clarified prior to the vote. This has a total membership for this bargaining unit of 7 members. Is that correct?
Through the chair to the councilman, yes, 7 members.
And if you can answer this, if not, I would address the question to the finance director. The potential financial exposure to the city with the Me Too clauses available throughout the other contracts that we have has a financial risk burden of about $180,000. Is that correct?
Councilman, from my end, that was an estimate, but I'd like to refer to Greg for that, if possible.
Go ahead, Mr. Single.
Mr. Chairman, reviewing this and talking to the safety director, if the Me Too clauses are utilized, and the fact is that there is going to be further discussions with other unions, the cost of these awards, or this award, could get into the $180,000 range. So, again, it all depends on if the Me Too clause is utilized with the other unions and how it would work out with the with the service department.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, if I may continue, I'd like to go back to the safety director. In the event that council votes this down, will this put the two parties back at the table? Is there any wiggle room to try to negotiate a better deal?
The chair to the councilman, yes, it would put us back at the table, and yes, it would be my hope that we could work something out. I would rather not go through another conciliation hearing. I would prefer to work something out with the union if we can, and I think the Labor Council for the city feels the same way.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Council, any other comments? Any other discussion? Councilman Troyer?
Thank you, Mr. Council President. I was able to read, well, I read all of this today. I have a couple concerns, but I guess they'll be brought out later. But through the chair to the safety director, you're saying that we can actually, this won't go to conciliatory, it'll go to negotiation first?
Through the chair to the councilman, pursuant to the law, if you reject the fact-finding report, there is a waiting period of 7 or 9 days, at which time we would be negotiating with the NOPBA. And then, once a conciliator is appointed, we would still be having conversations up until the time a hearing would be necessary. It would be the city's intention to try to work something out with the NOPBA at that time.
Okay, but.
The hearing will not occur in a week. The hearing will occur, I can't imagine much sooner than 60 days from now or even longer. So we have plenty of time.
And the city has already, we've already been through negotiations without without council's knowledge and/or without going to following chapter 153. And I'm not sure when can you tell me when the negotiations start, when it was reopened and when the negotiations were started?
Through the chair, councilman, the contract that's currently in place had a 2% wage increase given to the FOP, which was then transferred up to the NOPBA. NOPBA had a reopener that also could address rank differential and professional pay as
Correct.
well as health care. We were in continuing conversations with the NOPBA relative to the rank differential. And basically, we couldn't come into an agreement because of the fact that what I have in what I put in my memo to council. So we were in
Mr. Burns, can
ongoing.
you-
I'm having a hard time
The
hearing. the word.
microphone,
Oh, I
Mr.
can't
Burns.
hear a word he's saying. I'm sorry. Is that better?
It's much better.
Yeah, we, with the reopener for the NOPBA, the pay raise of 2% in January that we allotted everybody, that was passed by council, was credited to them. They had the opportunity to address professional pay rank differential, and we were having dialogue about it throughout most of the early part of the year. We had a handful of meetings. So that was part of the contract that was passed by council last year. And that began in earnest, I believe, my earliest recollection, without my notes, I think we had our first meeting around sometime in February.
Okay, what I'm asking is the reopener, when did negotiations start in the reopener?
I believe they should have started in the last quarter of the year, but my recollection is we started in February.
Okay.
We all knew we had to go to have a reopener, and
Okay.
I think the patrolmen were waiting until everything else settled.
Okay,
Or
so,
the
so
sergeants,
my point is, we have an ordinance, 153.18, Wage, Salary, Benefit, and Contract Review Committee, which states, 1, there is hereby created a Wage, Salary, Benefit, and Contract Review Committee. B, the committee shall consist of the mayor, who shall serve as chairman, the president of council, the auditor, which would be the finance director, and all members of council. C, the committee shall establish economic guidelines and goals prior to the commencement of negotiations. And yesterday was the first time that we ever heard about this negotiations being conducted. So I do have an issue with that, and I'll leave it at that tonight. Thank you.
Councilman Mancini?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Council President. Through the chair to our safety director, Dave. Dave, I'd like to ask you a couple of things, if I may. With these clerical duties that are pretty prevalent on these fact-finding, things of that sort, are these assigned duties? Were these put in a contract?
To the council president, the councilman, some of those duties were assigned by the chief. Some of those duties were duties that were already in place. There is not a contract clause that changed with the dispatchers leaving. So those duties are just administratively assigned to various people.
Is that the case? And is that the case in most cities? You have sergeants, lieutenants doing clerical work, I guess at one point dispatch work?
That's through the chair to the councilman, the police department works as a team, and they have departmental goals, and they all work together. I would imagine that some clerical work is assigned. We have a patrolman who works during the day assigned to the chief's office. We have somebody who runs the property room. We have various functions that are done. There is no specific clause that outlines their job duties, like what you're seeking. Some of those duties have been routinely done by sergeants or whomever might be available. I don't believe there's been any discussion about it. Certainly there has been none with me, and the police chief testified at the hearing about the fact when he was a sergeant, he did those duties. Of course, I wasn't here when he was a sergeant, but that's what he testified to.
Well, I know it's an unusual time too, because we've had dispatchers leave our station and go to Parma also, so that is a little outside the norm, if you will, a little bit. Little surprise here on remarks from the audience that nobody was there to kind of address this also, but that's just my little personal councilman comment. But that's all I have for right now. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else before we go a second round? Mr. Scott, no. Okay. Ms. McDonald, no. Ms. Powers, no. Councilman Troyer?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
It's hot.
Mr. Chairman, could you have the clerk recite the motion?
We have a motion on the floor by Mr. Troyer, supported by Mrs. Powers, to accept the fact finder's report for the police sergeants and lieutenants.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other discussion, we'll call the roll. The motion is to accept the fact finder's report, so if you want the fact finder's report accepted, you will vote yes. If you do not want to accept it, you vote no. Clerk, please call the roll.
Troyer,
Yes.
Powers,
Yes.
McDonald,
No.
Mancini,
No.
Scott,
No.
Salvatore.
No.
2 yes, 4 no.
Okay, the vote was 2 yes and 4 no. From my understanding, and I'll confirm it with the law director and the safety director, I believe we needed 5 votes, 5 no votes to reject. Is that correct?
At this point in time, obviously, we have Labor Council, who's actively involved in this. If that appears to be an issue, I would request him to give us an opinion with regard to that. I think Dave may have more prior knowledge of that than I do, but if that appears that that's going to be an issue, on behalf of the Law Department, I would ask that Mr. Block give us some sort of opinion.
Okay, thank you. Well, seeing there's no other business on the agenda, council,
Move to adjourn.
Support.
there's a motion to adjourn, properly supported. Clerk, please call the roll on adjournment.
Troyer,
Yes.
Mancini,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Powers,
Yes.
Salvatore,
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
This meeting is now adjourned at 8:44. Thank you very much.